3, 2, 1.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Hello to those of you who are feeling called to this reading in particular. Mystery reading at number 1209. My name is Elizabeth, and before getting into this reading, if you are a recurring viewer, you enjoy my work and you would like to help support it, feel free to do so by sticking around and hitting the subscribe button down below and ringing the notification bell next to it if you feel called to. And if you do feel called to subscribe and stick around, welcome. And thank you very much for your support as well as your presence during this reading. So, I want to get straight into interpreting 1209. But I want to start with mentioning that there may be someone or something within you or outside of you that needs to be released or let go. It feels like there may be a need here to find acceptance, maybe even forgiveness, if that resonates for you. The number 1 in 1209 is about having trust and faith. So have trust and faith in yourself, your abilities, what you're capable of, the universe, what's possible for you, and maybe even another person or a certain situation where maybe it's more like trust the process. But I think it's more important to focus on having trust and faith in yourself and the universe than another person or another situation. The number 2 is about being wise with your choices, protecting yourself if you need to, in a certain situation or a certain relationship. And this feels particularly significant. There is a relationship or a situation where, I think there always is, where you should think through your decisions. Make sure whatever you choose to do is what you really want, whatever consequences or sacrifices you choose to take or make. Make sure you're truly willing to take them or make them. It's always important to make choices that are aligned with the truth. What's real about you and a situation or a relationship. The number 0 can be a call for you to pay attention to spiritual communication, signs, messages, readings. Pay attention to the way that things align, because there are patterns here or recurring themes that need to be acknowledged and understood and maybe even interpreted on your end. You saw 3, 4, 5 on the timer, which is about trusting that everything happens for a reason. Wherever these patterns or these recurring themes are coming up, even if they're coming up within yourself, the way you think, feel, and believe, they're coming up for a reason. There may be something here about coming up for air, being able to breathe, freeing yourself in some way. Maybe there's something here about following breadcrumbs as well, or just following the signs, the coincidences, serendipities, because everything definitely happens for a reason. I just saw 432 on the timer while talking about that. The number 9, well no, Number 0 can also be interpreted as encouragement for you to put yourself first if you need to. Choose yourself if you need to. There may be an opportunity to heal, to think differently, to feel differently, to believe differently if that's what you choose. If change is what you choose, transforming as a person maybe. Number 9 is connected to purpose and helping the world release what no longer works. So letting go of someone or something. There is purpose in that. There's deeper meaning, and you either get to decide what that is, allow the universe to show it to you, or just trust that it's there and that you don't have to know all of the answers. To know that everything does have purpose. It does have meaning. What you're going through in particular has purpose and meaning. And I really encourage you to find what that meaning is. I'm feeling connected to the Italian word significato, which means meaning. And so your ancestors are encouraging you to seek out meaning or to have trust and faith in the meaning that you already have. Especially when it comes to how you cope with loss. When you add up these numbers, 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 9 is 12, 1 plus 2 is 3 again, 1 plus 2 again is 3. And this number is about using your voice and expressing yourself and taking an opportunity to heal and to grow. To use your voice and to show up in the world more honestly and more authentically, so you can attract relationships and situations that are more honest and more authentic. That authenticity and that honesty, that truth starts within you and your willingness to embrace it and live by it. Maybe no matter the cost. I believe the Bible does talk about what I want to call costly faithfulness. If you ever feel like you've had a target on your back for caring about or standing up for the truth, that means something. The truth, accountability, is a threat to somebody. Or to a certain situation, most likely people, but I don't want to accidentally exclude anything. Overall, this number, 1209, has encouraged you to have trust and faith, especially in your decisions and your ability to navigate a certain situation or relationship. Number 2 is just really standing out to me. For reference, the number 2 is a candle, if the right person is watching this. This number has encouraged you to pay attention and to choose yourself if you need to, especially if it's about protecting yourself. Allow yourself to move forward with purpose and meaning, finding deeper meaning in loss and just pain and suffering and what we can't control. There's definitely deeper meaning in what we can't control. I think the most frustrating about it is not always knowing what that meaning is, not understanding the greater mechanism, of how the universe actually works. But, a lot of our questions of the universe can be answered by looking within ourselves, because we are part of the universe, and I believe that because we're part of the universe, that's why we can communicate with it. That's why we can feel it, and the way that certain things align, they definitely align a certain way for a reason. It's just hard to describe, but that's how I feel. I encourage you to use your voice to express yourself, and if it's there, to take an opportunity to heal and to grow. So you can see that there are a few decks of cards on the table. In the middle, this is the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot, and these index cards and these other cards over here are just cards that I made myself, and I wrote on with things I just felt called to write. If you didn't already know, I'm just going to start with drawing out one of these tarot cards. I look forward to seeing what greater detail comes out of these cards. So let's see what the first card is, the tarot card. So I have a Major Arcana card. So this is a bigger idea. It's not like it's not small. It's not a detail, you know. It's a bigger picture kind of thing, if that makes sense. And I have the Chariot in reverse. And on this card, I wrote setbacks, lack of willpower, too focused on the details, remember main goals, main motive for your goals. And I'm also feeling connected to how Jack Skellington here, or Santa, there's something here about grabbing a hold of the reins, like taking control over a situation, or where you're traveling, how you're traveling, which doesn't have to be literal, it could be more metaphorical, like just movement in general, where you're headed in life. Maybe you are feeling overwhelmed in some way, and it's important to remember who you are and why you are doing what you're doing. Why you're making the decisions that you're making. The Chariot in reverse does give a sense of feeling out of control. Sometimes, if not at all times, it's about your fear being in the driver's seat instead of your intuition, your inner voice. What fear feels like it is controlling the reins, your trajectory? What fear feels like it's controlling you, to put it more plainly, I guess, or more directly. You deserve to understand what this fear is actually trying to tell you, what your nervous system is trying to tell you. What it needs, maybe. I just saw 333 on the timer. And we talked earlier about how the number 3 is about expressing yourself and using your voice and taking an opportunity to heal and grow. I guess that's just a reminder there. It's really important for somebody to express themselves in whatever way they feel called to another person, through journaling, meditating, through art, whatever works for you. I want to talk about the number 7 on the Chariot, which is about, maybe that number 7 in particular is significant for you too, other than the number 2. But the number 7 is about having trust. No, it's not. I guess there is something here about having trust and faith, for sure, but it's about expanding your awareness and your consciousness and becoming wiser. There's something here about a channel. I'm seeing 444, which is connected to ancestors and stability. Maybe it's channeling with your intuition, a TV channel, a YouTube channel, a body of water kind of channel. Only take it however it resonates, if it even does. But as I was saying with the number 7, there's an opportunity to learn for sure, to become wiser, and ultimately more powerful, stronger. There's an opportunity, it feels like, to or deepen your faith through wisdom, through knowledge, through waking up. I'm feeling waking up from the spell of some sort of fear that has maybe felt like a curse, but could be turned into a blessing if you allow this fear to empower you, to inform you, rather than make you feel distracted and out of control, you know? Let's go ahead and draw one of these cards here. Get even more detail. Like I said, the Chariot is a major arcana card, so this feeling of being out of control and maybe even feeling controlled by your fear, it's not, I don't want to understate that or underestimate the power of that fear. Oh, okay, so this card has two sides. And the first one that I saw, man, I'm feeling, what's that movie? The Corpse Bride, I think it's a Tim Burton movie. The mayor, how he has like two faces, or like, I don't remember very well. I'm just feeling connected to that character from that movie. And it made me feel connected to the Italian word for mayor, sindaco. So it's like your ancestors are pointing to the significance of that character, or maybe there's a mayor in your town that could be significant to you. Maybe you're learning something about this person who is in power. I'm going to take that if it resonates. And maybe even do some research on that character in that movie, if you feel called to. Like I said, I think it's called Corpse Bride. I'm not 100% sure. If you don't know what I'm talking about, maybe that message is just for people who know what I'm referring to. But this card says, show love, not aggression. And the other side says, leave it up to the universe. Leave it up to the universe is a recurring message with these cards here in general. And it's about letting the universe worry about things outside of your control, instead of putting it on your own shoulders or punishing yourself for something outside of your control. Just a general need to accept what is outside of your control and having trust and faith in the universe to take care of that for you. Knowing that also there's other people who need to play their part, there's other forces at play, you know. And this show love, not aggression, really makes me think that you do feel anger. There is definitely anger here. And it can be tempting, very tempting, to want to seek vengeance. But that's not the answer. It's love. And it doesn't have to be in a sense of being overly forgiving, but I mean choosing to seek resolution through peace rather than war, literally or metaphorically, I guess. It's important to be aware of how you're feeling and what you're doing with those feelings. And if they're working against you, do something about it. Find your reason to do something about it. The last card says, the world is not as dark as you think. And don't get me wrong. There is a lot of darkness in this world. There are a lot of sick people. There's a lot of tragedy. But don't forget about the light within yourself and in this world. Don't forget about your own hope and faith and trust in yourself, the universe, other people, certain situations. There's a lot of darkness, but there's also a lot of light. And the only way to bring more light into this world, at least on our part, is through our own actions. Our own decisions, our own words, just how we show up in the world in general, for ourselves especially. If we can't show up for ourselves, we definitely cannot show up for each other. If we're beating ourselves up, taking our aggression out on ourselves, it only makes it more tempting to use others as a punching bag and project that aggression onto them. I just saw the number 122 followed by 123 on the timer. The number 122 is about change starting with you. And I think that's a really nice message as somebody who may be struggling to some degree with anger or fear. What you're going through and how you move forward matters a lot, especially on a reading that has the number 9 and 1209 about purpose and helping the world release what no longer works. Showing love for yourself is not just for yourself. It's also for others and the collective as a whole, and just the kind of impact that you have in general. And I believe that if we don't show love to ourselves, we can't show it to others. If we don't bring more light into our own life by recognizing the light that exists within us, or that can exist within us, it's going to be a lot harder to bring more light into this world. You matter. How you show up matters. How you express yourself matters. However you don't express yourself matters. Looking at this reading overall, there has been encouragement for you to have trust and faith in whatever way feels right for you, but primarily in yourself and what's possible for you. You've been encouraged to be wise with your choices. Don't be reckless. Don't rush if you don't have to. Don't, make any decisions that you think you might regret. Be responsible with your power, no matter how big or small it feels. It's important for all of us to be responsible for our own power that shows up in our own decisions. How we choose to invest ourselves, our time, our energy, our attention, our resources. Pay attention, especially to recurring patterns or themes that can show up in the form of spiritual communication, the way that things align, or in other ways. As I said before, this could even be showing up within yourself. Certain thoughts that you keep having, certain feelings that you keep feeling, certain beliefs that you keep reflecting on. There's a focus here on what's going on within you for a reason. Sometimes putting yourself first is less about standing up to somebody else and standing up to yourself. And I just saw 432, a sign to trust everything happens for a reason. You take that however it resonates at the time that it came through for you. Well, for all of you, because it came out at the same time, but there's also been a recognition here of a sense of purpose, or the potential to obtain a sense of purpose, to hold on to some sort of meaning, especially when it comes to loss, letting go, healing, change. It's also important to express yourself honestly and authentically, and to take every opportunity that you can to heal and to grow. both for yourself and those around you. I believe that when one human being chooses to heal and grow, that's humanity as a whole choosing to heal and grow. That's what I believe. So, do what you will with that. But I did see a sign about trusting that everything happens for a reason with the number 5, 4, 3 on the timer. The cards on the table are showing me somebody who may be struggling to get control over their own life because of some strong feelings or fears that you have. And that's a clear indicator that your feelings, your fears need your attention. You gotta listen to what these thoughts, these feelings, the anxieties are telling you so you can understand what you really need. Maybe even what you really deserve, especially from yourself. Show love, not aggression. It's like you're being encouraged to bring more grace into your life, to find some resolution with some frustrations that you have through love. And I'm feeling connected to the phrase, peace through love. Remember that the world is not as dark as you think. There is a reason to embrace the light. A greater reason, much bigger than any single one of us. Of course, it benefits us personally, but it also benefits those around us. And it's just important to care about the kind of impact that you have on both yourself and the collective. Especially if you want to see less darkness in the world around you.